We are Lagos Talks 91.3.
Let's talk.
As always, we're going to start today with an absolute bang. It's the people's perspective, where we get to dissect topical issues from your perspective. And as always, I have my co-host, who isn't necessarily here with me, but we are together in spirit.
I'm here in
Seun
spirit.
Kuti. Hi.
Hello, Ify. How are you? We're happy to be back on the show.
Seun, I don't think I can hear you, though.
You can hear me?
Side. Not really sure
I think
if my people can hear you.
so can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah,
Hi, Seun.
perfect.
Yeah.
So let me to go live and then
How's it going?
let's give the people the news. The year started nicely. I mean, look at the raid on the Americans' capital yesterday. You know, the year has started very good, very nice with activity.
Very nice. Very fun-filled.
2021, here we go.
Indeed. Seun, before we get into the show, how has the start of the year been for you personally?
Actually, very good. You know, had a really interesting meeting with my business partners over the week that we're just finishing today to start the year, looking at the things we're going to do, how we can adapt our business, you know, to suit this new climate that we as musicians are living in today. You know, actually, my accountant let me know that the last time I brought in money from my business was December 7, 2019. You know,
2019.
Yeah. So.
Oh wow. So how has that been for you, though? Are you holding up?
I'm holding up. The ancestors always take care of their own, you know.
I love it. I love that. Anyways, I'm glad that you're good. Glad that you've had a great start to the year. Although you came into the studio and you're shading me. Me, your co-host, you're shading me.
How can I shade you? I can never. I just said, you know, I was holding the fort for you. Somebody had to come to work this year. If you've not been to work this year.
Can you imagine? He said someone had to come to work this year. Oh my goodness, no shade at all. Anyway, so let's get into the topics today. So we're going to be touching on the National Identity Management Commission in Lagos going on strike. We're also going to be talking about the COVID-19 vaccine, the recent developments, and the fact that it seems like our president and our vice president do not mind taking these vaccines live. However, you know, there are some cons here and there that a lot of Nigerians, a lot of citizens, a lot of medical practitioners as well, you know, have raised regarding the vaccines. We're going to be getting into that shortly. So let's start off with the NIMC, that is the National Identity Management Commission in Lagos State going on strike. Just a little recap. As we all know, the government gave a directive giving deadlines for citizens to link their NIN, that is their national identification number, with their SIM cards. Now, at first, it seemed like this was hurriedly done by our government, and the citizens did complain. Taking a look at our population of over 200 million people, how exactly are we going to all be able to, you know, link the NIN with the SIM card, especially for those who have not even registered for the NIN in the first place. And so thankfully, for subscribers with NIN already, the government moved the deadline from the 30th of December, that was last year, to the 19th of January, that is this year. And it was also extended for those without NIN so that they can get to register for their NIN and also then link their NIN with their SIM cards. So it moved from the 30th of December, which was the initial deadline, to the 9th of February. So that's next month for them.
Yeah. Now,
with all this going on and with the second wave of COVID-19, we did see a lot of backlash, aside from the fact that it seemed like the government did this hurriedly. We saw that the number of cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria were rising exponentially, especially during the festive season, seeing that people were coming from different parts of the world back to Nigeria to celebrate with their families. And then seeing the government reiterating precautionary measures that have to be followed. On the other hand, it seemed like they, were not adhering to the precautions because they opened up this floodgate of individuals going to the NIMC offices because they were hurriedly trying to register for their NIN or then link their NIN with their SIM card, which it did seem as if that was a cocktail for COVID-19, these different places. And so later on, we did hear that, and this is very recently, right, that the members of staff of the NIMC in Lagos went on strike for so many reasons. Now, according to the striking workers, they decided on this action because they wanted to press home some of their demands for better welfare packages from the government. Not only that, they did raise a very alarming situation, saying that apparently some members of staff had tested positive for COVID-19, which their superiors were hiding from them. So usually with the COVID-19 protocols, there should be proper flow of information, from the head to the members of staff, right? And if there is a case where an individual has been exposed, to someone with COVID-19 positive or just maybe tested positive for the virus, there's specific precautionary measures that ought to be taken. The members of staff ought to be informed. Matter of fact, they even need to go into isolation so that they can begin to see if any one of them is coming up with symptoms or if they need to be tested, so that they don't go ahead, exposing their family members, thereby endangering their family members to this very deadly virus, right? And so the members of staff complained that they didn't even get any information whatsoever, so that they can also take some precaution for themselves and for their family, saying that the government was endangering them. So aside from this, which is extremely alarming and irresponsible, of the government, they are also pressing their demands for better welfare packages. Now that we know that there is still a deadline, Seun, what are your thoughts about this current situation where the Lagos chapter has gone on strike, given the different issues that they've raised concerning, the irresponsibility of the government endangering them to COVID-19, as well as poor welfare packages?
Yeah, for the NIMC strike, and the NIN number, the first thing, on my Instagram page, I did a little video on New Year's Day about this issue, because I've realized that every government in Nigeria comes up with some kind of national identity. I used to call it scheme, but now it's scam. Every government in this country comes with a national identity scam, and they make it mandatory, obligatory. They say you can't open your bank. Obasanjo just tell me, say you can't vote if you don't have it, because they didn't do PVC in that first election. So what I'm asking is, all those times you go and register for this national identity, where is the data stored? Why can't they just pick up from where the last administration left off? Why is it that every administration must come with a brand new scheme, and everybody that has even registered before, we have to go and register again? Especially in this modern age where your information is money, your data is money. Is it that the past administration, through their agents, are selling off that data to some international companies without telling the Nigerian people, which is a kind of some breach of national security, because these data cannot just be disappearing? You understand? Now, so now, if the NIMC workers are striking, I believe that kind of place, there must be PPE, like medical. The workers, they must be wearing PPE, like they are in the hospital, because you are opening them to a high risk job, And the government of Nigeria are contradicting themselves in their policy on COVID. It is kind of shameful that they cannot make up their mind. They cannot show real leadership strength. And why? Why can't they do that? They can't do that because of their own mismanagement of the economy. So, what Nigeria should have done during the first outbreak, instead of begging for money to buy food that they hide in warehouses, was to start schemes to improve our healthcare system. That's the truth.
Yes.
The number one way to battle COVID is by building enough hospitals. What we are building here are isolation centers. This COVID thing has been going on for over a year. Has Nigeria commissioned one new hospital in this 1 year? Any serious country would have gone to, at least would have launched one COVID specialist hospital just for COVID patients. China was building 6 every day at the height of the crisis. You understand what I'm saying? Our country cannot even deliver us one hospital, only isolation center. So I understand where the NIMC professionals are coming from, that their lives are endangered. But then, by extension, the life of their family members.
Yeah, of course.
So this is how I feel that the government is contradicting themselves. You are telling us that we have to take this COVID serious. You want to regulate this COVID, all the COVID regulations. We all have to adhere to COVID protocols, left, right, and center. But then at the same time, you are creating policies that can lead to the spread of COVID. Right? Because if this COVID is as serious as the government is saying it is, why would the government be creating any kind of policy that will make large crowds have to assemble anywhere? Especially when you're not allowing us get large crowds at the shrine.
Good question.
No, I told you, my accountant called me that I have not brought in money since December 7th, 2019. Nigerian people, can you hear? If you see me with 1 million boys, don't be surprised.
Well, let's hope not. Let's hope not, Seun.
Okay. You people keep it up.
Violence
like this
is not the answer.
You people better get
Violence
one of these your sponsors to sponsor me, because I'm writing application to 1 million boys.
Seun, you mentioned something extremely pertinent, which is an issue with continuity in government. Because one thing that we have seen is the government that we've seen from time past isn't really the government for the people. It's more of the government that comes in with their own agenda. Hence the reason why we are so divided by parties in Nigeria. It's either you're for APC or you're for PDP. And when you eventually get into office, and I don't think that this is, just peculiar to Nigeria. It cuts across board in different countries. When you get into office, those that are in the opposition party that happen to, occupy political position would frustrate whatever policies that it is that you are trying to implement in that position. But what do you think, aside from this, Seun, just taking a look at the lack of continuity, what do you think can encourage or eventually lead to? Because we would always have different parties in Nigeria.
But if Nigeria is
so what do you think can lead to that continuity in government?
What you might find people frustrating themselves for in other countries is ideological. Nigeria is based on interest only. So there is always, for example, let's look at the pension of governors. Such a policy, whether it's APC governor there or PDP governor there, such a policy is continued seamlessly.
That's very true.
You understand? But when it comes to some kind of public health policy, the new administration will enter and stop it. Say they want to do their own. But there's no new scheme for the governor's pension. That scheme stays the same. It's working fine. You understand? So it's when it comes to the policies that affect the lives of the Nigerian people, every government will come and use us, because they use us as leverage to better the lives of their cohorts, of their psychopaths. So Nigerians, through state capture, the lives of the Nigerian people becomes a way to compensate their supporters. So this NIN is nothing but somebody's contract, somebody's opportunity to share from our national cake. That's all it is. There are many contracts to print the paper, to gather the information. Many companies, data gathering, many people are getting contracts based on this NIN And then you are risking the lives of common Nigerians for this nonsense.
Exactly.
I believe that if it is for security reasons, as they've said, that they want all Nigerians to identify themselves, the issue can now not be punitive. It cannot be punitive because the action the government is taking is a punitive one against the innocent Nigerians that are not terrorists or criminals. That anybody that doesn't do this will cut your line regardless. Right now, people cannot, if you lose your line, right now, you cannot get a new line. You can't get a new line. But what this government doesn't know is that people in this criminal world, these terrorists, they mostly use satellite phones. They mostly use satellite phones. You remember that Turaya? That's what they use. You know,
wow.
So we are just being punished for some people to make money in the name of security. That's all.
Wow.
Because immediately you buy your line, you are forced to register it. So if there are lapses in the policy of registering it, it is the telcos that should, NCC should get the telcos to up their game.
Indeed.
In the way they register people's lines, not suddenly turn into a punitive policy against the majority of the Nigerian people. You understand? Because this is what is happening here. You know, is what is happening.
And just to quickly wrap up on this particular topic. Now, regarding what's going on in the NIMC,
also, I would like to add, what are we registering when we've never done census?
Indeed.
So the government does not even know how many people it wants to register. Everybody just be going to register. What's that? Why are we putting the cart before the horse? You want to register and know Nigerians and take our data, right? Count us, do a census. That one takes work. That one is not contract. Because we will go to see what they happen. You have to count Nigerian people. Then nobody wants to do that work. Because counting Nigerians to have an accurate number will also do what? Stop their ability to rig election with these fake population counts they always use for. So we know all these tricks and gimmicks.
Anyways, Seun, just to wrap up on this before we take some calls and read out some messages.
Okay.
Now, regarding what's going on in NIMC, seeing how contradictory the government is clearly, question is anybody going to take responsibility? Because it is this behavior or this culture of impunity that also allows these because this is a criminal behavior and discipline as well, and this makes it perpetual. If there is someone that is responsible, I believe that will also set the tone moving forward. Who would come in contact with other Nigerians that are coming to register? I
mean,
I believe that for the NIMC and for the government to spread to make a point, they ought to hold people responsible for exposing and endangering more Nigerians. This is what we're expecting. So let's see, what the government says and the response of the government to the demands of better welfare packages for members of NIMC in the Lagos chapter. So can we take some calls, Seun? Because I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will want to join the conversation. So if you're listening,
I have Trust here with me to help me,
Okay, so Trust, please help out as well.
Oh yeah.
Seun, right there, because you're in the studio, the numbers out there. Would you like to read out the numbers right there?
Okay.
I'm sure you've seen me read out the numbers now, Seun.
I can see it. Okay, call it. All right.
So you can call the phone lines. The numbers to call 0809 191 3913, 0809 222 0913.
I've got Trust in the building, yo.
You can also call 0809 234 5913. You can also call the landline 01515 0913, 01515 1913. Don't forget our Twitter handle is at Lagos Talks 913.
Indeed. Do you have any calls?
Yeah, I think 3 lines are blinking here.
Of course.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning.
I'm Isaac. I'm calling from Surulere.
Isaac from
All right, Isaac,
Surulere.
let's
What do you
hear
want
you.
to add?
Okay. This NIMC stuff that the government is issuing and pushing, I agree with you. It's just plain nonsense. Because they have data, actually computers are studying data analysis. So they have a lot of things, the BVN, the registration number that you can use to get data. Also, if there's any case of crime or anything, the government actually have the police there. Once your phone is missing, for example, now, or something's happening, and you go and meet the police and you give them a certain amount of money, they will track your phone. They know when a SIM card is in a phone with the serial number. They will know how many SIM have entered that particular serial number of that phone. So they're just giving stress to Nigerians. I schooled in London. If you buy a SIM card, you don't even register it. You put SIM card in your phone, and it works just like that. You don't have to actually do anything. But if you commit any crime and they have to find you, they will find you. Why? The serial numbers of your phone. Any SIM card attached to that phone, they do. And Nigeria also have that ability and that capacity. But they just take delight in making Nigeria successful for every Nigerian. Okay.
Thank you, Isaac.
That's my own take on it.
Thank you
I don't
very
know why
much.
they are putting Nigerians at risk of going. You know, Nigerians, they don't like going in crowds. They like going to places like when there's a rush. You put them now, everybody, most of them don't have the NIMC number. They have to go to the NIMC to it. Then you go to the MTN office and Glo office. You see a lot of crowds there. More stress to your life. Instead, the time you have to do other business and other things, you have to use it doing NIM administration, SIM administration, and finding your NIM number. These things are being done to cause stress Nigerians, in my opinion.
Thank you very much, Isaac. Thanks for adding
All right,
to
thank
what
you.
we're saying. Yeah, you know,
All right, let's take
Good morning to the big boy, Seun Kuti.
Girls Talks.
Good morning. My name is Ogunda
Good morning,
Ify.
who's speaking?
Yes, good morning.
All right.
We have Ogunda Ify on the line.
how you doing, my brother?
I do. So the government have accountability themselves. We are preaching the second wave of COVID-19. They are telling people to go and register. We told you data that we have. I see it as is unfair. We are putting the risks of the ministry officials to at the public health is at risk. Even though you want to catch all these indicators of security, these people are smart. They will not use their own SIM card. Either they use this other people's SIM card or they use walkie-talkie to talk with themselves. I don't see this and we just need to frustrate people. Even though this is not the proper time to do it, this is time of COVID-19. They can do it another time. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe the
All
best
right.
way for this whole NIN thing is for the government to conduct a census, and you do it while they count you, they give you a number as your national identity number. It's through a census that this thing, especially in COVID time, the government should be the one moving to us, not asking the people to move to them. Because if we move to them, we have to move in crowds. There's no other way. Is it that people from Mushin will call people from VI? Don't go and register today. We from Mushin, we are the ones going there today. I mean, I don't understand. There has to be crowd. So it's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous.
That's interesting. All right, do we have any tweets? In case you want to tweet, it's at Lagos Talks 913.
tweets,
Please use
no
the hashtag The People's Perspective. So, do you have any tweets?
I'm sure you have
any
tweets on the
messages
screen,
WhatsApp as
but
well?
this thing is PC. I don't know how to operate PC.
What do you mean by that, Seun?
I don't know how to
What
operate
do you
PC. It's just the
actually mean by
truth.
that?
It's just the truth.
Oh,
So,
you bougie, huh? What? You know how to operate
it's just how
MacBook?
I'm trained. I'm not tech savvy. It's not that I'm bougie. I'm not tech savvy.
Okay, you're not tech savvy. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Anyways, keep your tweets coming through. Hopefully, we'll be able to read that, towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
Anyway, Seun, let us move on to another story. Let's talk about the status of the vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine in Nigeria. So during the course of the week, I did share that the executive director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, his name is Faisal Shuaib, he disclosed during a plenary with, the PTF, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 in Abuja, saying that the government is expecting 42 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines in Nigeria towards the end of January. He did say, and I quote, through COVAX facility, we expect to receive approximately 100,000 doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine by the end of January. Also, through COVAX facility, Nigeria is expected to secure free delivery of 42 million doses of vaccines, which will be a combination of all the available and approved vaccines currently in the market. Now, just riding off of that a little bit, taking a look at how it's become a trend, so to speak, where leaders in countries decide to sensitize and encourage the people about the vaccines and how they believe it's for the betterment of their health through publicly being administered the vaccines. So they either go live on whatever platform it is, telecast, so that the citizens can see, from example, that their leaders are actually taking the vaccine. And it does seem like our president and the vice president as well would be doing the same with the vaccines. So they've disclosed that the president and the vice president would be taking the vaccine on live telecast to sensitize the people, to encourage the people, because we know that we've heard so many controversial takes about vaccines even before COVID-19, because there are people that are pro-vaccines and there are people that are against, vaccines because of the so many other detrimental side effects that could come with taking vaccines. Now, regarding this particular vaccine, especially talking about the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, before getting into that, we recall that last year, the Minister of Health, Osage Hanire, he disclosed, saying that the federal government plans to acquire vaccines valued at 400 billion naira. He did mention this, breaking it down further, saying that in 2021, that is this year, we would need to spend 156 billion naira. And then in 2022, we would need to spend 200 billion naira. He did say that this 400 billion naira vaccine would be able to vaccinate 70% of Nigeria's population. Now, it's quite worrisome, especially regarding the speed at which these vaccines created. It seemed like it was survival of the fittest, or a race by different nations on who is more technologically or scientifically developed, and who can, get the vaccines quicker than other nations. Aside from the fact that, it was profitable, it's also a thing of status as well amongst these different countries, as though it was some sort of competition. Now, there are so many red flags that have been raised, especially regarding the Pfizer vaccine. There are a few things that have been stated. If you just take a look at the UK government's website as well, there are a few things that have been stated as regards the side effects, saying that, and I quote, events of anaphylaxis have been reported. And so they were advising, that's the UK government, that appropriate medical treatment and supervision should always be, readily available in a case of anaphylactic shocks or reactions. And we know that this could be deadly. It could be detrimental when it comes to someone getting into anaphylactic shock. We've seen also on their platform talking about pregnancies, and this is what they said, and I quote, "There is limited experience with the use of the COVID-19 vaccine in pregnant women." And they went further about animal studies, which, dare I say, are not always accurate as regards to how it reacts in the human bodies. They did say that animal studies do not indicate direct or indirect harmful effects with respect to pregnancy. They also spoke about breastfeeding. They also spoke about fertility, saying animal studies do not indicate direct or indirect harmful effects with respect to reproductive toxicity. Just letting people know that there is a possibility that these could possibly respond differently or react differently in the human body. So with these different red flags, dare I say, a lot of red flags, a list, of precautions that have been put on these different platforms have been, made known. Yes, Sean.
The worst of all the of the whole thing, you didn't even say it, is that people that are taking the vaccine are still catching COVID.
Exactly. I did report that yesterday as well.
That one for me is the worst.
Did as well.
What did I just take?
Indeed can protect you from COVID.
I took vaccine to prevent me from getting COVID, and I got COVID. So what did you give me? What did you?
Exactly. What really is in that vaccine that they're giving? Is that really a vaccine or is that a placebo? Are they giving a vaccine saying to people that, oh, this is going to get you better, hoping that it will have the placebo effect where people would begin to think it, begin to live it, and eventually it will protect them from COVID-19? And so now, really, where I'm going to show is this. If we've seen from the federal government that the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine is part of the cocktail of vaccines that we're going to be receiving in Nigeria, worth 400 billion naira, of course, in the space of 2 years, and the president and the vice president are going to be administered these vaccines live for the whole of Nigeria to see. What really does this mean for the health, the public health of this nation? Because there are so many people out there that have little or no information.
First of all,
and awareness about vaccinations.
I want to say.
So what do you think this is going to mean for public health in Nigeria?
I want to say, for people so intelligent, like the people that run Pfizer and all these big companies that are bringing their vaccine, they surely can be stupid sometimes. Because if they are done just a little research, they will realize that the president, vice president, and SGF of Nigeria taking that vaccine will create the opposite effect of what they want, which is that Nigerians will now distrust the vaccine more. All they had to do was do a little. Imagine Buhari taking a vaccine and telling Nigerians is good. Nigerians will immediately say, So, I'm not bothered about that. Our government, they don't have the social capital, you understand, to, by their TV show of taking vaccines, make Nigerians suddenly trust the vaccine. They know that is, if they do their research, they will realize that, we don't trust our politicians, But that being said, I really want people to understand that vaccines and the art of vaccines rose out of the art of inoculation, which has always been around. You understand? Africans have always understood inoculation for leprosy, for smallpox, for many diseases that we've had in Africa. And vaccine is nothing but the European interpretation of this process. Now, what I want to say to people is that vaccination is highly important for the medical well-being of humans. You understand? But the problem we have in the world is that the unscrupulous characters that dominate capitalism have started to use our health for profit, and immediately there's profit to be made from your health, then they have every incentive to want to make you sicker. So they use all the opportunities they have. Nothing is sacred to capitalists. You understand? Capitalists can go into a forest that's been there for 10,000 years and start cutting down 10,000-year-old trees just to make table. There's nothing sacred to the capitalists. So your health, your life is not sacred to them. It is the companies that should not be trusted, not vaccines. If vaccines can be made from a people-powered medical system where it is social for the benefit of everybody, like what eradicated smallpox was that Dr. Salu, who invented the vaccine, when they asked him to patent it, he said, can one patent sunlight? So if one can't patent sunlight, why should I earn money from something that nature has given me for the benefit of humanity? You understand? Diabetes medicine in UK is $1 was sold for $1 by the man that created it. And look at how much companies charge today for it.
Wow.
So you have to understand that it is these companies that we espouse as that they are good companies. This Pfizer and all these people, they are the ones that are bastardizing this genuine medicines for humanity. You understand? So that is where the distrust comes from. And I want humanity must be able to separate the two. that our distrust is of those companies that run these things, not of what it means to be vaccinated. You understand? Now, when Europeans say that they don't want to take vaccine, for example, yeah, maybe it's their education and whatever, but I still feel that they're to a certain extent being petulant. You know? But when African people say we reject a vaccine or we are skeptical, not that we reject, me, I don't say, because me, let me speak from my own point. I'm not saying that I reject the vaccine, but I'm skeptical about the vaccine.
About the vaccine.
I'm skeptical. And as an African, I have every right to be skeptical about it. In 2009, right, this is a report written by The Guardian. You know, The Guardian, UK Guardian. You know, this was in 2019. And what are they saying in that article? That the polio vaccine was the reason why African children, remember we had the polio resurgence, epidemic of polio all over northern Nigeria in 2019, even up to the early stages of 2020. There was a polio epidemic all over Northwest Africa, not only Nigeria, all over West Africa and Northwest Africa. And when they did the research, they found out that this new polio strain was from the vaccine that the children took. That the strain was, that there are more children in Africa being paralyzed from this vaccine-derived strain of the virus than the wild virus. So that is a scientific reason for us to be skeptical. We have historical reasons to be skeptical. Just in 1990, in the 1994 here, I hope we've not forgotten Trovan by Pfizer and what they did to Kano, the children in Kano.
Wow.
Yes, have we forgotten that? In 1990 here? If we go a bit in the same 1994, I wrote it down. I always forget the name of the drugs. AZT, this drug that the US government, the CDC of the US, and the National Health Institute of America went to Zimbabwe to test this drug that is going to stop pregnant women from transmitting HIV to their children by breastfeeding. Noble idea, right? But now they did not tell the pregnant women in the test that were getting placebo, that they were getting placebo. So those ones went on to now infect their children. Over 1,000 children were infected.
Terrible.
Even though at that time that the testing was going on, there was already a drug that could prevent this. So just to test their own new drug, they infected over 1,000 children with HIV/AIDS in Africa. You understand? They either just tell the other, oh, you are taking placebo, don't breastfeed your child. You are the ones on the placebo. Or not even use a placebo at all, because they need a placebo effect. They couldn't tell them because they will know it's a placebo and it will affect what the placebo is supposed to be. So you can't tell the patient. But you allow the patient to go home to breastfeed their child. And knowing that you've given the person a placebo. And they went out to transmit HIV to their children. So we have historical, scientific, and political reasons to be skeptical about a European vaccine. You understand what I'm saying? It is not, we are not drawing this. I'm not talking about people that are saying 5G. They want to put 5G in your body. I always say that religious people are always looking for incredible things where it doesn't exist, and ignore incredible things where they find it, where it truly exists. Because what is incredible truly is the attitude of big pharma in Africa. But these religious men and what would I call them? You know, charlatans. These charlatans, they, instead of pointing people to the right direction, that is big pharma, they start pointing them to big tech. That it is a technology that they want to put 5G in your body, to put rays and all of that. I mean, you know, turning something that is actually true, that can be investigated and made to be better, into something ridiculous and, you know, completely infantilize the situation. You understand? So African people are now talking about 5G and all when the real issue is right in front of us. You know?
Wow. I mean, what you've mentioned is the different examples that you've actually given a very cogent point. And I believe right now we have like 3 options thrust before us.
Oh, me, I'm even saying I'm taking the Chinese one. I'm taking the Chinese vaccine. I've already picked my own.
If the Nigerian government is going to be receiving the vaccines, especially now that they have said that they're expecting to spend over 400 billion naira on vaccines.
I want the Chinese one
coming to the country. When these vaccines come into the country, or even before they come into the country, is the Nigerian government planning to, on its own, talking about NAFDAC test, the safety and the efficacy of these drugs? This is supposed to be the next step, because as a country, you are responsible for your people.
Yes, but if you do not feel that...
I believe that NAFDAC should test the efficacy and the safety of these drugs on her own people, on the Nigerian citizens. And also, Nigeria should then decide, are you going to move towards profitability above efficacy and safety? Because we know that a lot of these private companies are more driven by profits, about what they're going to gain. And I believe that the Nigerian government should be very well aware of this. They should know this, taking a look at the history, especially how it's affected us in Nigeria with these, different international private pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
And also, I believe that another thing that should be done is awareness, information, should be given to the people, because this should not be a situation where, because in as much as you say, Seun Kuti, that the president taking the vaccine discredits the vaccine, in as much as that might be what people might think, there are so many other people that will take it, say, if the president is taking it, it means that maybe it might be working. And so it means that people need to be better informed so that they can by themselves make a decision.
This whole rush of the vaccine, yes, it's making sense that, humanity is desperate and desperate times call for desperate measures. Yes, I understand, but we cannot now say because we want to eat meat, we'll suddenly start calling the cow uncle, So,
what is this analogy?
It's true. Because you want to eat meat, you're not calling cow uncle. I don't get it. We as a continent, we must get out in front of this, and that is the only way Africans can get the best solution out of this whole vaccination scandal and controversy that is ruling this COVID conversation now. But the COVID vaccination or no, without the proper medical healthcare policy and infrastructure, the vaccine alone cannot save Nigerians from future pandemics, future diseases. Because we talk as if once we solve COVID, everybody is healthy.
Exactly.
You understand? I mean, it's just a shame that, as I said, COVID has been going on since 2019. This is 2021. Federal government has not announced any kind of mass hospital, social hospitals being built for the Nigerian people. There's no improvement in the existing structures. You understand? My band leader died on the 31st of December.
Wow, rest his soul.
And even though he didn't do the COVID test before he passed, maybe it's COVID, maybe it's not COVID. But his wife told me when they got to the first hospital, not because they didn't have money, they had money, but it was in such a bad way. By the time the hospital turned them away. So these are the kind of things that still happen in the healthcare system of Nigeria, where sick people at the point of death arrive at these so-called private hospitals and they are turned away.
Wow.
To go and die in the car, which is where my band leader passed in front of his wife and children. In the car while they were rushing him. Because maybe this hospital, you understand that your job is not only to cure the person, but to give the living peace.
And a chance to at least live. A chance.
But this is what I'm saying, So what we have here is not a failure of vaccine. It's a failure of a healthcare system. And when people say, oh, this 2020 now, we don't want another 2020, your problem was not 2020. 2020 is just time running on its own. The problem we had in the year is the extreme capitalism, rugged individualism, bad government policies, inadequate healthcare system, inadequate welfare that decimated us in Nigeria. It had nothing to do with 2020.
Wow.
People say, oh, 2021 should not be like 2020. Your government has not changed, so nothing is going to change.
So it's inevitable.
Exactly.
It's inevitable.
Don't blame the year. Blame the systems.
Wow.
The policies, the governments. I mean, 2020 is innocent here.
Wow. Anyway, Seun, let's take some calls before we wrap up. If you are listening, please feel free to join the conversation. What are your thoughts about the stories that we've shared? Can you give us a call? Trust.
Right.
Okay. Lagos Talk.
We missed that.
Oh, we missed that one. Oh, yeah,
Okay,
give us another.
Would you please read out the phone lines as well for those who do not know?
There's a call.
There's a call, Ify. Hello, Lagos Talks.
Hello.
Hello, is that how I sound?
Ify
Lagos
and
Talks
Seun
speaking.
Kuti.
Who is speaking, please?
This is your brother Francis from Lagos.
How you doing, Francis?
And if I know, Baba, I'm a great fan of yours.
Oh,
A
thank
very
you,
great fan
thank
of
you,
yours.
thank
You
you.
and Ify.
We are trying our
And
best.
trust.
Thank you very much.
And trust too. You guys are wonderful. You know,
Trust,
every
big
week,
up, man.
Thank you.
every week, I look forward to your program like someone looking forward to eating a very beautiful and delicious cake.
Thank you, my brother.
Of course,
So
so
the
that's what we
program
get
is both the
here.
cake and the icing on it.
Oh, wow. Wow, Francis, you are becoming my best friend, small.
Man, you guys are the bomb.
Thank
You
you.
know, you just say the truth. Simply put, why is it difficult
Francis, please, can you turn
for
off your
our
radio? We're
government
getting
to just do
feedback.
things and make it simple? Is what I cannot imagine. Well, I'm fired up anyway. It's well
Thank
done,
you.
guys.
That's the point
is
of the
well.
show, to get the people fired up, to get the people going.
Indeed. All right, let's
Hello?
take another call.
Oh, we have another caller on the
Lagos
line.
Talks?
Hello.
Of course.
Good
Hello, who's
morning.
speaking.
Yeah.
Good morning.
This is Bola calling from the country. You see,
Bola from the country,
really
alright.
appreciate you, show. And what I want everybody to know today in Nigeria is because there's no love in Nigeria. If you look what is happening now in Nigeria, you discover that if you can only love ourselves, you will see everything is okay. Who believe that what happened in America the other day, this is 200 years democracy can happen in America. But remember, if it is Nigeria now, you will see Nigerians, they will now march to American embassy. Did you see any American march to Nigeria embassy? So we need to learn and love ourselves. For example, if you look at the issue of if you go to market and want to buy the bag of rice, you are joking. They don't remove for the Rica. We are traveling from Ore to Benin to Ore. Our vehicle got spoiled. To just to airport, they say they are charging 100,000. When are we going to love ourselves? So if we can be able to, no America, we are going to do this country by ourselves. Look at even the journey people who are traveling this year from one place to another. The same road, the same fare, charging the one used to be 10,000 to 20,000. They charge already to 30,000. Then when you see the other part of the world, this is when you will see everything safe, everything will come down. But there is the case, everything go up. So even buy a car about 10,000, 12,000. You see, if we didn't get able to love ourselves, you will see work because any small thing we want to America, small thing we want to America. Now, see what happened now. Where is the America? Where is what do you call it? International. So I really appreciate you. That
All right,
was
sir, we need to get more calls.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. We appreciate your call and your input.
Lagos Talks. Lagos Talks. Good morning.
Good afternoon. Good morning. You have a good night for I'm back on the night. Happy New Year, Seun. I never go to that time. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right, very quickly so that we can get more calls.
You said it on the vaccine. I think the African Union and NAFDAC themselves, let them do their different from theirs. Thank you.
All right, let's take another call before wrapping up. Lagos Talks. Lagos Talks. Good morning.
Good morning, Seun Kuti.
Good morning. Who's speaking?
Hello.
I'm here.
Richard calling from Dauphin Estate.
How you doing, Richard?
All right, let's hear you.
Happy New Year to you people.
Happy New Year.
Another year. Thank you right there. I think I want to talk about this NIN opportunity.
All right, quickly, let's hear you.
Like, if we talk of NIN, the same information they are demanding is the same information someone that, like me, I use for my driver's license. And the same information that I also use for my BVN. Then why are they telling me I should go and do the same thing again? It looks somehow. If they need my driver's license now, if you give them driver's license, there is a number. Immediately they die it, your details will come out. So why are they complicating issues? If I have identification number as a driver's license, I think it should be my national ID. I don't think someone will ask me to go and do a national identification number again.
When you already have national ID card, a driver's license.
Yes. It looks somehow, and my BVN is also there. Why would somebody be telling me I should go and do national identification number again? The same thing is the same thing they are going to ask. I think we should think. We should think.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It is 11:59. We need to wrap this up so that the news can come on. Seun, I miss you. I'm going to see you hopefully.
Can't wait to see you again.
Next Friday. Yeah. All right. Thank you. It's always a pleasure, having you on the show. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for being a part of the People's Perspective. It is about you. It's about your perspective. And thank you for unfailingly joining the conversation, listening, telling people about the People's Perspective. We really do appreciate you.
Yeah.
Seun,
and Lagos drivers, I beg. Make sure they give themselves rude. I beg.
Is it every Friday?
Every Friday I have to beg them because I'm going to join them now to go to my house.
Yeah.
Bye everybody. Right, Happy New Year.
So stay tuned for more content. A whole lot more is coming your way, so stick around.
We are Lagos Talks 91.3.
Let's talk.